Peace, family. This video right here is about pornography addiction, okay, and artificial attraction. So we're going to be breaking down how the elites, the administration, the government, the industry, the media, whoever you want to blame, okay, is using these two concepts to literally neurologically rewire a person's brain and cause them to become addicted to their lower self. Now, we're going to also break down the effects of this addiction once it is acquired in regards to how it negatively affects the brain, as well as how it causes you to have a lower quality in regards to your relationship, if not ruins your relationship at all. So with that being said, let's go into this. We're going to be dealing specifically with the part of the brain that's called the reward pathway. Now, when you go look up the reward pathway, you'll see three parts. You'll see at the bottom it says VTA. That stands for ventral tegmental. In the middle, okay, you'll see nucleus accumbens. Okay, so that's ACCUMBAS. That's nucleus accumbens, accumbens, however you want to say it. Then at the top, you'll see the prefrontal cortex. Remember in my last PAU I did, heart rate frequency, I broke down how the prefrontal cortex helps you to deal with aspects of yourself in regards to judgment, thinking, critical analyzation, etc. So that being said, what we're dealing with, we're going to start with pornography. When you're dealing with pornography or media, period, rap videos, movies, we were talking about why are women over sexualized in movies and on TV. I'm finna give you the juice right now. First of all, what you have to understand is your brain, your neurological system, right, is what your spirit uses to analyze phenomena. And it is through your neurological system, okay, in regards to, and it is your neurological system in which helps your soul to make certain judgments. Being, I like this, I don't like this. For example, your nerves help you feel pain. If you touch a hot stove, you immediately say, this is hot. So now subconsciously and spiritually, okay, you make the judgment and you make a mental digestion that this is not something you want to do. So when you do things that you like to do, right, you make a mental and spiritual judgment that this is things that I like to do. But what you have to understand is your spiritual aspect of yourself controls your physical self. But your physical self, every time you make a thought, okay, every time you have a thought or you have an image in your mind, your brain releases a chemical that either aids or that either agrees, or disagrees with your own mental and spiritual concoctions. So now, taking this information and applying it to media. When you watch a movie, when you watch a rap video and the women is half naked, when you watch anything you like to watch, but specifically we're dealing with pornography, okay? When you watch pornography, okay, you are visually being stimulated, okay? And they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. Why? Why are the eyes the windows to the soul? Because light is electricity and magnetism, aka consciousness and will. And once light penetrates the retinas of the eyes, it travels down the spine from the front side of yourself. Then it comes back up the spine from the back side of yourself. And these electrical intervals that you were digesting through the retinas of the eyes go into the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is the head of the central nervous system, and this sends information throughout your entire body. And if you agree or disagree if you agree or disagree in regards to what it is you are digesting consciously into your internal being, aka information, that which forms your inner self, okay, your brain releases a chemical. Now in this regards, we're going to say that you agree with what you're watching, and in doing so, your brain releases dopamine in order to let's say, commend you in regards to how your brain is set up when we're talking about what is known as the reward system. So there's a part of your brain, okay, go look it up, called the reward pathway. And this actually is the part of your brain which rewards you for doing what it is you think you like to do. Now we coming back to pornography, right? What you have to understand is pornography is unrealistic and it's artificial. But we want to go into details now. If you're watching pornography and the women have on wigs and they have butt shots and breast shots and lip shots and all of these different plastic surgery outcomes that they've, placed upon themselves, and you're watching this and you're interacting with yourself upon this, right? What you're doing is you are programming yourself to lust after an artificial entity that does not exist really anywhere in society. So with that being said, not only does the image or the standard of the male or female that you are now programming yourself to be attracted to naturally exist. Now, not only that, the acts that they're performing in the video, 9 times out of 10, ain't nobody doing all of that shit. Because there's not no porn stars just walking up the goddamn street. So now what happens is, as you're interacting with yourself, whether you're male or female, and you're doing what you do with yourself as you watch pornography, your brain, the neurotransmitters in your brain, listen to me, family, is literally rewiring itself. So the same way somebody can hotwire a car, imagine that happening to your brain neurologically. Study neuroscience. So as you're visually becoming stimulated with blue light frequency, because when you digest natural sunlight, it's called photons. What you're digesting is photons biologically, and in your body emits them as biophotons. When you watch a phone or you watch a TV, or it's called blue light. Blue light is artificial light, aka light that is not being naturally produced by the universe, but is still kicking you radio frequency, which is information. So that being said, just like you got natural food, you got GMO food. Just like you got natural light, you have unnatural light. Unnatural light is blue light. Blue light is any form of light that is giving you a visual stimulation that is not being produced by the universe. So that being said, once again, your TV is blue light. Your cell phone is blue light. You watching me right now, whatever device you're watching blue light. So that being said, I want y'all to understand it. So now your pineal gland is being stimulated by an artificial source of light. Being on top of that is being given an artificial source of information. So now your brain is being hotwired and rewired neurologically, okay, to seek out something that does not naturally exist. So now when we want to talk about how do they use the media to program society, I'm showing you right now. They're showing you imagery from a small child all the way till you get to about teenage stage, right? Which is making you seek it out and lust it. And is reprogramming your brain to do so. And I'm going to tell you how now. Now what happens is, if you eat a food, right? Because you don't got to just be addicted to pornography. I'm just dealing with pornography specifically now. You can eat food and become addicted to taste. Why? Because once you say, I like this, your brain releases dopamine. Okay? Now dopamine is like a natural drug. Dopamine gives you a myriad of feelings. But we're going to deal with the main one here. Pleasure. Okay? And dopamine is released in your brain as a reward for doing what it is that you think you like to do. So that being said, if you eat a food, right, you feel good, you feel happy. That's that dopamine. Your brain is saying, here's a reward for doing what it is you believe you like to do. So now what happens is, after a while, that dopamine that's being released is not enough, just like a drug. So you have to do more and more and more and more and more of what it is that you've tricked yourself into believing that that's what it is you like to do in order to release more and more and more dopamine. And what is feeding your quest to be rewarded is the neurological reconstruction of the neurotransmitters in your brain that interface with your reward system. Period. So now when we watching pornography, if a person watch a porno and go do what they do, right, they feel satisfied. And they feel like they done took care of their business. And you done release dopamine. But then what happens is, the next time you get an urge, or your Kundalini energy rises, and you get the sexual you get that sexual energy and you want to express that, neurologically, you don't think of a woman. You think of the artificial reality that you have drawn yourself to like. So now when you say, I want to ejaculate or I want to climax, your first thought is no longer, let me go find a woman or call my girl. Your first thought is, let me cut a porno on. Why? Because you have neurologically been programmed, right, to be in accordance with this reward system. You have reprogrammed your own goddamn brain. So now what happens is, people become addicted to pornography because just like eating food, one porno is not enough. Now you got to watch it twice. Now you got to watch it 3 times. Now you're watching it all day because you need to stimulate. It's just like being on a drug. The little bit of dopamine your brain released at first was enough. Now it's not enough because you're watching pornos every goddamn day. So now the amount of pornography you're watching is escalated. Or the amount of rap videos you're watching to see women that stimulate your brain is escalated. Or the amount of sexual shit that you watch, period, is just escalated. So now you find yourself all day, right, subconsciously seeking out females, or if you're a female, you find yourself subconsciously seeking out male partners to either be sexual with in regards to intercourse, or even just flirt with, however you do. And you don't even understand why you're doing this. You're doing this because you're seeking a reward. And your reward is dopamine, which is pleasure. So when we say people are addicted to pleasure, this is not just some cute shit we're saying. You are literally addicted to pleasure. You're addicted to dopamine, okay? So now what happens is, this ties into artificial attraction, because the people on the videos that you see, and the people on the TV that you see, and the people in them pornos that you see are not natural people. So now you're becoming addicted to people with wigs. You're becoming addicted to, if you're a female, you know, men that have a certain facade, big chain, nice car, big house. If you're a male, you becoming addicted to women with big butts, big breasts, and stripper type women. But these women that's in these industries don't have natural bodies 9 times out of 10. So now you're subconsciously and neurologically programming yourself to seek out this type of woman. So what happens was, when you get into a relationship with what you would consider the average female, right? You find yourself cheating, or you find yourself not attracted to her, and you find yourself wanting what you call a bad bitch, or excuse my language, but a bad bitch. That's what people say. And outside of that, if you're a female, you find yourself attracted to an NBA football or a rapper looking nigga. Why? Because you have programmed yourself, right, to become rewarded through a specific sequence of what it is you conceive to be okay mentally. So now we're no longer happy with our normal regular counterparts, because neurologically we've been programmed to be rewarded for interfacing sexually with a certain type of artificial entity. So now what happens is, we don't even know how to deal with each other or be in a relationship with each other, because mentally our brains won't even release dopamine unless we go through a certain process that involves a certain person that stimulates us visually. So if you're watching pornos all day and this girl got a big butt and she got a pink wig on, when you go home to your girl with the natural short hair and her body's a 7 or an 8, that doesn't stimulate you. And you got people right now who, you ain't got to say who you are, you got people right now who watching this video and personally knowing their personal lives, they might can't even rev it up unless they cut a porno on. You might be laying with your girl and you can't even get right unless you cut a porno on. If this is the case, you are a victim of what it is I'm talking about. So with that being said, we're being mature, we're being realistic here with the information, because we want people to understand how they are being manipulated by the system. It's deeper than just, oh, niggas just making shit up. You are neurologically being reprogrammed, okay? Your brain remembers. Your brain doesn't know right from wrong. All it knows is what you believe. And it actually reprograms and reconstructs itself to seek out what it is you have okayed. So it's just like when you tell a 5-year-old the boogeyman is in the closet. Even though you know it ain't nobody in the closet, he still generates fear. Why? Because his mind has already been reprogrammed to believe that concept. So when we're talking about visual stimulation, you have to understand the importance of what it is you're seeing. When you see imagery, your brain reconstructs itself to what it is you agree and disagree with as far as visual stimulation. That's just like people in the hood. A motherfucker, or let's say a military soldier. A military soldier can see death all day. You know why? Because the neurological aspect of his brain has already been reconstructed to say that this is okay. So a motherfucking body get blew up, that doesn't affect him. If a body get blew up on the street, the average person might have a goddamn heart attack. They ain't never seen blood and guts before. So even when we talking about training Marines or training military, what is training? What are you training? What are you training? You're training the neurological aspect of a person's brain. So even we talking about dopamine, right? What is dopamine? A neurotransmitter. Now, what is the difference between a neurotransmitter and a hormone? A neurotransmitter travels through the nervous system. It travels neurologically. So you study neuroscience to study neurotransmitters. A hormone is dispensed to the blood and travels through your circulatory system. So you have to understand, anything that is dealing with you neurologically is reprogramming the brain and the nervous system. It is hitting you directly in regards to the aspect of yourself that deals with memory and recollection. And that's just a small, minute aspect of your neurological self.